nagkakaroon ng ibang mindset kasi if farmer ka, parang nag-aayaw na yung mga youth natin to go back into farming. So, we want to make it as the preferred livelihood. So, we want to provide people na there's gold into farming. Pag bumalik kayo
Yeah.
sa farming, talagang iba yung buhay.
Hey guys, welcome back to the show. I do have a guest, and I don't want to keep you guys in suspense. And his name is Joshua Aragon. Again, for those of you who have seen the posters, you guys know who our guest is. He is the CEO, the Chief Executive Officer of Zagana Inc., which is an online platform where you could buy your agricultural produce from farm to table, o 'di ba? Ang galing. So, sa amin, here at home, still do a lot of wet market and groceries, but I personally don't do it because it's dangerous. So, actually, it's very smart to use Zagana as a platform, and I guess that's why it's growing. And I'm so excited to have him here as a guest, and we do have a lot of questions for him that are already here, and I just need to click that. So, without further ado, here's Mr. Joshua Aragon. Hey, Joshua, pleasure to meet
Hi,
you.
Sean. Good evening. Good evening to everyone here.
So we have a question for babanatan na kita, Josh. Ito na yung first question mo. How did you know you were ready to start another company? I think this comes from the context of from pushcart.ph to Zagana. What's the story behind that?
One of the motto or the comments of Warren Buffett. He always says that when a proposal is given to him, it only takes him 5 minutes to decide. And why is that? Because he has already prepared 20 years of his life on that proposal. So I guess it also starts with how you start your own company. You should already be prepared when a proposal gets to your table. So when I started Zagana, it was already proposed to me by my mentor, si Steve C, my partner, co-founder, Steve C of Great Deals, na ito yung gusto na i-start, ito yung vision niya, ito yung mission. Are you prepared to do it? So it only takes you a few minutes, then you decide yes or no on the table. Kasi when you don't decide on that time span, ano na siya, mawala na siya, makakalimutan na siya. With the fast-pacing world right now, bukas iba na yung trading, 'di ba? Like we have a lot of markets right now na makakalimutan na. Kaya you have to decide very quickly if you want it or not. If the first reaction pa lang parang hindi mo alam gagawin mo and you said no, mawala na yung opportunity.
Got it. Got it. Galing. Actually, this is a very difficult question. How do you know if you're ready? Parang you just don't know if you're ready. But you're right. If you're prepared or you have ample preparation experience, you can port that and start another company. Very good stuff. Good stuff. We have a question from LJ. What made you start an online agribusiness?
That's a good question. You need that training eh. Hindi naman siya basta-basta na nagbukas ka ng business, ito na yung gagawin mo. Ito yung na-conceptualize mo, ito na yung gagawin mo. You need a lot of training, insights, and industry knowledge. So when I started Zagana, I attended the Alibaba e-founder program. So that was in June of 2019. We went to Hangzhou, China, learned how e-commerce works in China, what is rural e-commerce, and how it grew tenfolds in China to $1 billion market. So eventually, we learned that aspect. And then when we got back to the Philippines, Steve mentioned na, oh, Josh, yung mga natutunan natin, why don't we apply it here in the Philippines? Eh, yung program naman is for us to really gather those insights and bring it back to the Philippines and work on growing the e-commerce industry. So that decided for us to go into agribusiness because one of the people in the DA, the Department of Agriculture, brought us to Bugyas, Benguet. Dinala kami doon. He showed us how the livelihood of the farmers, what's happening in that industry. And in interview namin, one of the people who we interviewed is Lola Flora. She's 89 years old and still tilling the farms. Sa isipin mo, under the sun, 89 years old, talagang hirap pa rin. And then I asked her, Lola,
Grabe.
ang ganda ng farm mo very bountiful harvest, makita mo how vast gaano kalaki yung farm nila. And it's more than like 10 hectares, 20 hectares land in Benguet.
Wow.
And then, makikita niya na masasabihin ko, kamusta yung livelihood? I'm sure you're living the life. Ang sabi niya, she's living day by day with utang. Kasi pag bumagyo, mag-uutang siya kasi masira yung mga goods niya. When she has to till the land, like put in the seeds, the fertilizers, kailangan niya mangutang. And yung mga tao na who will help her harvest, she needs the money for them to roll the cash. And eventually, when the trading comes na, when yung mga traders papunta na dyan to pick up the goods, binabarat sila. So, sometimes they get the produce at break-even price or even below cost. Kasi yung market is very volatile. Ang competing market nila hindi lang sa Benguet but even other places.
Yeah.
So, the market plays with it. So, minsan up and down yung prices. And then, we saw the problem. So, number one, if you see the problem, you create a solution for it. And that's what started us. That sparked the idea and that sparked the business.
Galing. There you go. There's the problem, and you were passionate enough, to want to solve that problem. Yun ang kailangan kasi a lot of people could hear the same story and say that's someone else's problem. But if you're passionate about enough to solve that problem, there you go. You can start a business. Major struggles you had in building, starting up Zagana, and how did you overcome them?
Major struggles, number one, is building your team. You need to have the right team for you to grow your own business. Eventually, we were able to get the right people and we were able to create the right culture. But number one is putting in your purpose. Before you onboard yung key people, you have to make sure that set na yung purpose, mission, and vision mo. And from that, you also have your values. So those 4 areas, once you onboard your first employee, your second employee who believes in your purpose, mission, vision, and culture, sila na yung tutulong sa'yo to grow your business. They will eventually not just be an employee, but will be a leader themselves, a leader and a owner. And they will help you. They will fight alongside of you. They will basically live, breathe, and die in making sure your mission, vision will succeed.
Yeah. That's something that I also believe in 100%. What's Zagana's vision as a company?
I'll start with our purpose. Purpose kasi namin is to uplift lives using technology. So technology comes into a lot of play. You have the logistics process where you bring the produce from point A to point B. Number 2 is how you will be able to prolong and maintain the produce. And number 3 is how you will make it yung seamless as possible yung transaction. So we did the instant commerce. So our mission here is to bridge the gap between food producers and consumers. So food producers, who are they? They are the farmers, the fishermen, and the livestock growers. So focus talaga kami on agricultural, in the agriculture industry. Our vision, we have 4 visions. Number 1 vision is we want to create and we want to create great talents and let them thrive in our Zagana setting. So bringing that culture and providing the right people to put in place, and they would help grow the company, and not just the company but also the community. Number 2 is we want to make sure na yung stakeholders namin are happy. Kasi siyempre, who are we helping? We are helping the farmers, the delivery riders, yung nagde-deliver. We have to make sure that they have ownership as well. Kasi yung pagkaroon ng ownership nila is, ibig sabihin, they are responsible enough to bring in that service na alam nila safe yung produce and they will be able to handle it properly and service as well. So, yes. And then, yung third vision namin is to make sure that we have we show our values, yung culture namin. So, that entails our vision as well.
Galing.
I'll add my point rin, no? So, yung isang vision rin pala namin is, yung very important pala is, we want farming to be the preferred livelihood. So, what does that mean? It means that yung pag-farm, we want to bring in the young generations to go back into farming. And eventually, siyempre, ngayon, ang average age ng farmer is 60. So, nagkakaroon ng ibang mindset kasi if farmer ka, parang nag-aayaw na yung mga youth natin to go back into farming. So, we want to make it as the preferred livelihood. So, we want to provide people na there's gold into farming. Pag bumalik kayo
Yeah.
sa farming, talagang iba yung buhay. And some people would attest to that. Especially yung mga nag-farm na ngayon. They will see, parang ang sarap pa ng buhay na maging farmer. Or ang sarap pala na makatulong rin. So
Yeah.
that aspect we want to provide. And the other, if you want to make farming the farming the preferred livelihood, then consumers naman, we want to allow every consumer to have access to safe produce. So eventually, we'll be able to provide them yung mga deliveries namin that's very convenient and has better service.
Yeah. So Josh, next time, invite mo ko sa farm mo, ha?
We actually don't do our own production. Kasi yung mission namin is to bridge the gap between food producers and consumers. So
Yeah.
we want to make sure that we live through our mission. And that's why we are the one connecting yung mga farmers natin. And we don't
Yeah.